Alright, YouTube folks, feel free to skip ahead for just a minute. I'm going to let some people get into the chat before I get started here. And maybe refill my water bottle. Nope, we're good. Morning, Link. YouTube off, Twitch on. I guess that's fine there, it still fits there. Alright, good morning everyone. My name's Phil Gallagher. I run Thraben University. Today we'll be streaming with Brighlting D&T. This is the same deck list that I've been playing for a couple of days now. I'm just kind of starting to gather some data, feeling pretty good about the general deck list. The main deck feels great to me. The sideboard is probably close-ish to where I want it to be, but the metagame's still young, so I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. It's hectic and busy here. We're kind of getting into the home stretch. The big marketplace exercise that they've been building up to for the past couple of weeks is happening today. So that's going to be super fun. We've got a field trip tomorrow, and then we start doing the dress rehearsal for the play, and then the play happens, and we're done on Sunday. So it's hectic, fun, but hectic. So as far as cards that I'm trying out from the new sets, we have 2 Remorseful Clerics, which is a 2/1 flyer with Tormod's Crypt ability. And then we have Brightling, which is just the greatest card ever, and nobody believes me, and then it does ridiculous things like hold off 2 Wormcoil Engines and an Oblivion Sower. That game from last night was absolutely ridiculous. Yes, if you only have 1 Brightling, shove 1 Brightling in your deck, it will be very good, and then just, fill the other slots with, Crusaders or Avengers or something. Miracles is really good right now. That's why, I'm trying 3 Brightlings, is just because that card is an absolute house. It just cannot be removed without jumping through a lot of hoops or counterspelling it. And the deck isn't playing as many counterspells in the post-sideboard games often, so it seems like a great way to attack that deck. I know Miracles is starting to play Brightling. That card's dumb. Been saying that since, when was SCGCon? June? Been saying that for 2 months. People are getting the memo now. The sideboard is a little bit in flux. I'm not necessarily sold on all of these cards. I have a lot more one-ofs than I normally do, and it's possible that something like Gideon or Cataclysm or Elspeth might be better than one of these random cards here. This is a good starting point, and I've enjoyed this as a starting point. But let's just get in and jam some games. Yeah, that's kind of how it goes sometimes. I know my opponent plays Dredge in Vintage. That's what I know. So I hope they play Dredge in Legacy, and that this Remorseful Cleric is going to be baller. Yeah, Allure can be tough. I don't have as many Mirror Crusaders as I used to. Oh, man! Alright, chat, let's play along. What deck is my opponent playing? There is a correct answer. I can waste this undiscovered paradise. But I think I'd rather just slam Remorseful Cleric next turn. Yes, here's the awesome, like, Bloodghast Undiscovered Paradise synergy. It's sweet. I'm really hoping, like, my opponent cracks the LED this turn and goes relatively all in, and I just get to wreck them with the Cleric. Do it. Just, like, cast another Careful Study and crack LED, and let me get you. Ooh, breakthrough scary. I'm very surprised that my opponent didn't crack LED in response to the breakthrough. Like, that could have been so much worse if they didn't hit a Dredger in the initial 5 cards. So my opponent's going to get to Dread Return and Ashen Rider create 9 zombies. Then Cabal Therapy my entire hand. I'm probably just going to concede in response to a Therapy. Oh wait, is there the 4th bridge there? There is the 4th bridge there. I should probably just concede in response to this so they don't see the Cleric. Like, they're going to bridge, make 4 zombies, Ashen Rider me, get rid of my land, and then, like, I'm just going to be dead to the board over the course of 2 turns. I probably do very well this game on the play. Because on the play, I stick, like, turn 1 Aether Vial, and then I can either, like, Wasteland the Undiscovered Paradise, or Thalia or Cleric on 2. Alright. So these are probably things I want. What don't I want? Usually cut most of my Flicker Wisps here. They're not the greatest. Provoker's good on LED, but otherwise not amazing. I might trim some of those. Probably trim a stone forge. Probably trim one of the 3-drops. Probably trim a land. Agate, thank you very much for subscribing. Agate, Brightling has consistently surprised me in how powerful it is. I've been very, very happy with the card as a whole. It is a game changer in a lot of matchups. It's amazing against Delver. Like it's good against every sort of archetype, because against control decks, it's bounceable. Against aggro decks, it's life gain. Against combo decks, it clocks for 5 a turn. The card's very good. You should test it when you have the time to. Actually, I can probably just like drop the Sword of Fire and Ice over one of these Revokers. Oh wait, no, I decided I liked the Brightlings before because they can kill themselves. Oh, man. This hand doesn't have Graveyard Hate, but it has a lot of interaction. Is this good enough? So I got turn 1 Vial, turn 2 Thalia, and then I have 3 removal spells for things like Icarids and Narcomoebas. This is borderline. Like, there's not a lot of pressure here. It's not a true Graveyard Hate card. Is this fine? Based on the fact that if you've hunted milled 30 plus cards in one turn, I lean towards too slow. I think most of my 6-card hands are going to be about this good. I'm going to ship this. But it's very close. I'm going to put that on top. It's not good. But it's a threat, and I don't have any threat. So I'll jam a Rest in Peace on turn 2. And then I'll have Stoneforge Mystic on turn 3. As, like, a card that does something. So that I can, like, Stoneforge and Wasteland on turn 3. That's solid. Yeah. This is the last match I'll be playing with this Plains, and then we'll have the Lightning Plains back in the deck again. But I made the change in the middle of a league, so it doesn't actually stick. What just happened? Oh, I found it. Hardcast an Archimedes. Okay. Yeah, it's an interesting Dredge build. He has Undiscovered Paradise and Blood Gas as an additional engine. Right. Game 2, win, rip. Let's see what happens now. Alright, I have a Graveyard Hate card, and a Vial, and an early piece of interaction. We'll want a land in one of my first 2 draws so I can play the Cleric. Oh wow, opponent has mulliganed into Oblivion. Not that that means a lot for this deck, but if they can't put a Dredger in the graveyard on turn 1, it's really bad for them. Oh man. Opponent was not able to produce a Dredger. Okay. That's a great draw. Oh my gosh, still no Dredger. Zach, I'm feeling pretty good about things. Meta's like still young. Oh my gosh, discarding 2 lands. But I feel pretty good about D&T so far. But take that with a grain of salt. You know, I only have 16 matches in or something like that. Define problem. I see no problem. Like, if my opponent draws a Dredger, they discard it to LED, they crack LED for Faithless Looting, I nug their graveyard at some point. They can have Bloodgust. I almost want to source the Plowshares' zombie token. Almost. Because, like, I'm not going to be able to cast it once I put the Thalia in play, which is something that I want to do. But the zombie token doesn't particularly matter right now. So I'm not going to do that. That's disgusting. So I'll have a second Remorseful Cleric on call. Actually, this probably means... No, I'll just nug their Bloodghast with this. So I could just Swords to Plowshares the zombie, attack for 3, Remorseful Cleric, wipe that graveyard, then end of turn, Recruiter of the Guard for a second Remorseful Cleric. I'm just debating like whether or not I would just want to like keep attacking with this mob again and again and again. But that one point probably doesn't matter that much. So at my end step, they're going to tap their Undiscovered Paradise. Oh, no, they're not. I think I just want to nug their graveyard right now so that they can't, like, crack LED and cast a Faithless Looting without me responding to it. Yeah, the Cleric's been really good. It's like our best main deckable graveyard hate option. I'm not actually boarding it out all that much. Just because it's a 2-1 flyer. And that's usually good enough to stay in the deck for post-sideboard games. Yeah, it's not the Rest in Peace bear that I wanted. But it's still pretty sick. Man, it feels so good to be, like, winning the Dredge matchup as D&T. Like, now that I'm winning more of the game ones because of Remorseful Cleric, my Dredge win percentage has gone up a lot. Like, I'm 3-0 against Dredge since bannings, and that doesn't usually happen. Yeah, I agree, Zach. Like, the design space is being used well. I mean, I really wanted a bear that, like, enters the battlefield, has the Rest in Peace trigger. But this is pretty good. Well, this hand looks absolutely stellar. Hey, Gooby, welcome. Yeah, this league is going to go strictly better than the last league because we have the right planes in the deck now. I think my opponent plays post. Post confirmed. Brightling's insane. I can't sing the card's praises enough. But it's way easier to just, like, wait until the cool shit happens. Because nobody believes me when I say this card is the bee's knees. And then they're like, oh my god, Brightling can do that too? Oh, I fucked up my turn. I should have, with Ether Vial Trigger on the stack, put in my second mom. Yeah, Gooby, like, Brightling has so many words on it. People look at it and they read it and they're like, okay, I know what this does. And then they immediately, like, fuck up and they're like, I did not know what that card did. Too many words. Alright, so I can go 5, 6, 7, 8. And play Mom, and then I have my opponent dead in 2. Requires tapping out, but I don't think that matters. Because they have 1, 2, 3, 4, potentially 5, 6 if they play Glimmer Post. So about the worst thing that can happen is a Primeval Titan. They can't get to all his Dust mana yet. Tesm, thank you very much for your continued support. 4 months is a long time. Thank you for that. 5, 6, 7, 8. Plus 8 is 16, 17. Brightling does pump for colorless, so that's all fine. Yep. Okay. Does my opponent realize they're dead? I don't think they realize they're dead. They could repeal a mom. 5, 6, 7, 8. I guess they could repeal a mom and live. So I can play a round repeal by using port to tap Tropical Island. No, I can't, because if they give protection from something, then I don't have lethal. Sure, they could have a crop rotation or they could have a repeal to stay alive. But it's not like I'm not going to go for the kill, you know? This can be a Glimmer Post. If there's not a better target. I have an interesting decision about whether or not I want to, like, hold up the ability to bounce Brightling or whether or not I want to port something. Another Glimmer Post. Alright, so what does another Glimmer Post do? One, two, three, four. So they're going to gain 5, they're going to go up to 9, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So Glimmer Post doesn't actually keep them alive. Alright, what if I tap a Cloud Post? If I tap a Cloud Post during their upkeep, they just, like, tap the same Cloud Post and untap it, so it doesn't really do anything, although it does prevent, like, super crazy massive amounts of mana. Okay, so if I tap this during the upkeep, they have 5, 10, 11, 12, 13 mana. If I don't tap it during the upkeep, they have 5, 10, 11, 12. Or actually, they just let it get tapped, right? Like, they let this get tapped. They tap Cloud Post and Glimmer Post. That's 6 mana. Go down to 4. Untap these. It's 14 mana, 15, 16, 17. Okay, so porting them basically does nothing. So I hold a Brightling activation up instead. I'm scared of basically... Ooh. So they have 4, 8. They only have 9 mana. So whatever they do isn't all that bad for me. Oh, shoot. Let's see how they approach this. Okay, so I just bounce my Brightling, put it back in, go to my turn, bounce Karakas Olamog, and have lethal. What am I missing? What could they possibly have to fuck that up? I've already played their land. They played Ayabugan. I guess they could have another Pithing Needle and play it now that Nathalia is gone on Karakas. Brightling's so good. So what's their winning line, right? Because a lot of the lines I'm seeing for them to take end up with them still dying to the random critters on the ground. Can they... They can get rid of Karakas and Thalia. I swing in, nug them for 2 with moms. Yeah, okay, that'll work. Alright. So I'll probably want these paths. I want this Relic Warder. I want the Recruiter. I want the Council's Judgments and the Sanctum Prelate. I'll consider the Brightling and the Sword of War and Peace. Alright, what don't I want? This isn't a Jitte matchup. This probably isn't a 3-piece of equipment matchup, so I should probably cut 1. Or maybe just, like, not bring in the War and Peace. This isn't a particularly good matchup for Mom. Like, my opponent could have repeals, but that's about it. Like, or Dismember. But Mom's not doing a lot. Probably trim 1 Stoneforge, go down to 2 pieces of equipment. Maybe the 3rd Brightling is too much. And maybe I should cut a Swords to Plowshares and just play 5 pieces of removal. This hand doesn't have a lot of action, but it has 2 pieces of mana disruption, and I can keep making my land drops. So I'm fine with this. I'm not going to lead on the Wasteland. I want to sandbag that for as long as possible, not let them know it's there. Seven would be what Sanctum Prelate would go on. Oh man, I'm gonna get crop rotted. That sucks. This is so unfortunate. This port doesn't really accomplish much because my opponent just uses the mana to, like, crack Expedition Map. But if they have something reasonably sized in their hand, I don't want them to deploy it yet. Our hand was acceptable. Like, I don't by any stretch of the imagination think I mulligan a waste port hand against 12 post. But that crop rotation was backbreaking. Portent. Wow. Oh shit, this isn't blue-green post. This is Bant post. There's Terminus in this deck. That's super good to know. That's super important to know about. Well, I still got all these ports, so guess I'll just port forever. That's gonna name port. And then the shit's gonna hit the fan on the following turn. So I feel like my opponent has Primeval Titan since they copied this over the Cloud Post. So if I waste a Cloud Post, they have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. If I don't waste a Cloud Post, they have 4, 8, 9, 10, 11 mana. I'm getting rid of this Trop, and then I'm going to cast Stoneforge, put in Sword of Fire and Ice. Next turn I can get an attack with Stoneforge equipped with that, Violin Crusader. The following turn put this on Crusader and put a lot of pressure on my opponent's life total, if I'm not just like dead. Big if there. Well, obviously it's not. I get so punished for taking this line. I should have just, like, held this, and now if my opponent has, like, an Ugin or an All Is Dust, I lose both of these instead of just a Crusader. Alright. Okay. Well, guess I'm not technically dead. No, I'm done. I'm done. Alright. So, game 2, lost to Walking Ballista. Alright, so how does my plan change if I know my opponent has Show and Tell and Terminus? Well, I suspect Terminus. I don't, 100% know, but that's the only way that card makes sense. Does that mean I want this other source to Plowshares? It might. But it's just it's just so bad to have them before my opponent has a critter. I think I'll just keep up my pressure. This is no good. This is also quite bad. Do I mulligan this? Thalia is a disruptive element, but not a good one. Relic Warder is in about the same place. Flicker Wisp isn't amazing. I don't know. Like what's the 5 look like that's better? Like a Vile Wasteland start? A Vile and 4 Wastelands, that would be stellar. I think this is like a begrudging keep. And that port can go to the top. At least we got a game plan now. Do I want to show the port this turn? I think I want to show the port this turn on the off chance that I draw a Wasteland on my next turn. If they have a Needle, it would take their entire turn to Needle. And I think I just want more pressure. I think I want to put in a 3 power worth of attackers this turn, and then every turn for the rest of the game, double port. Brainstorm away. Well, that's on me. I wanted to divide the mana so that they couldn't use it to like brainstorm, and now I'm gonna get Terminus instead. $100% could have played around that. That's very frustrating. You are looking at Bant Post. Okay, now what? So my opponent has 1, 2, 3, 4. My opponent has 5 mana, potentially 6 mana next turn. I can just like cast Stoneforge and port the Cloud Post. Get a Batterskull, put the Batterskull in, and try to ride that. I can just like shove a Prelate on like 1 to stop the random cantrips and candelabras. So if I put this on 1, it would probably stop Brainstorm Portent, Crop Rotation, Needle Map, Candle. So 4, 8, 12, probably 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That would stop 19 cards. I think I just shoved this Prelate on 1. I'd get punished by a Walking Ballista. My opponent can't prime time right now. They can't play a lot of their biggest threats because they don't have quite enough mana. Scudo, I'm streaming from Latin Academy currently, not from my own place. Alright. There is a question of, like, what the fuck am I supposed to wasteland? I think I wasteland the Cloud Post and port them off of Tundra. I think. And then I also think I just play the Stoneforge Mystic to greatly increase my clock. No. Grandma's is not better than Brightling. Not arguable. Okay. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So my opponent had 5 mana that turn, so they couldn't have cast a Titan yet. I think I'm just going to double port them rather than... Actually, I can play the Relic Order as a blank. Just, like, play it as a 2-2 and port them once. No, if they go land Titan, that's pretty bad. I should probably just port them twice. If I play the Relic Order, though, then they're dead on board if they fetch. So it's kind of like a land destruction spell if they whiff this turn. But it's still like a 2-turn clock regardless. So I think I just like double port. Well, the Relic Order changes some things, right? Like, it shuts off that fetch. It doesn't change the clock, but it means that this isn't usable on the following turn. What the hell is this? A ballista for 2. That is indeed bad. I'm trying to figure out, like, what happens this turn. I can't cast my Swords to Plowshares on it because of Prelate. I think I attack... I think I attack in with Prelate, see if my opponent will take the damage. If they do take the damage, which I suspect they might, to try to, like, use the Ballista to just take over the game. Then post-combat, I play Relic Order and remove the Ballista. Then it trades with the Prelate, and I have 3 damage on board. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7. I can bring them down to 6. I'm probably going to get, like, Primeval Titaned. But I can play around in All Is Dust, maybe. So I'll just name Port. Oh. So this shouldn't be like a show and tell here. Okay, so my opponent puts in some large legendary creature. In order to have, if I put in a recruiter and I get a flicker wisp, I can flicker wisp whatever they put into play, and then I have 4 damage on board. If I put in Brightling, I will only be able to do 3 damage. I probably deserve to lose that one for not playing around that Terminus. Alright, so game 3, win despite not playing around Terminus. So we'll change the name of this deck list from Blue-Green Post to Bant Post. Alright, folks, I'm going to take 30 seconds and run to the restroom. Take a look at the deck list here. If you have any questions about it, feel free to throw them in the chat, and I'll be right back. What if Flicker Wisp was a human and it had flash? Well, we almost got one of those, right? Like there was like a Vizier of Deferment or something like that from a couple sets back. That was close. It was so close to being what I wanted. Buff Wisp, make it a legendary. I like it when you talk dirty. Double Aether Vial hand on the draw. Yeah, this is probably fine. I think the, like, human Flickerwist thing was, like, Vizier of Deferment. Plus or minus a few letters. I think my opponent is lands, not D&T. Played them before when they were on lands. This is a very slow lands start. I wonder if they just, like, naturally can produce, like, a turn 3 or 4 Merit Lodge. Well, EE, for one, getting rid of both of these vials is pretty sweet, admittedly. But my Revoker shutting off their Mox Diamond is going to be equally saucy. Do I just want to flicker this Mox Diamond this turn? I kind of want to do that. My opponent doesn't have a loam going yet. Yeah, he missed that one land drop. I think I want to go for this sinkhole attempt. Another Punishing Fire. Yes, the Cleric will be quite good. Not sure what this holdup is. Yes, I will be getting the cleric, although I'm going to sandbag it. I really just want to put like Stoneforge in so that I can like start Stoneforge equip shenanigans. Under some circumstances, I might just like try to nug everything right here and now, but I kind of suspect that my opponent might have a Punishing Fire, and I wonder if they were... No, they couldn't have like Ghost Cored themselves. They don't have a basic mountain. I feel like their last card's another Punishing Fire. Ensnaring Bridge in the main deck. Okay. Good thing I've got those Brightlings. Yes, I like Crusader main over Prelate. Crusader's just such a good tutor target. Okay. Well, you have no cards, friend, but unfortunately that doesn't really matter. I don't even think I want to put on this cleric. I just don't think I want to expose it to anything until I'm absolutely certain I want to throw it into play. That's an annoyance. Still not the end of the world. So I make no attack here, obviously. And I'll just pass. That is problematic. So I probably need to wasteland this grove. My opponent will try to return punishing fires in response. And then I use the cleric to nuke the graveyard. The Maze of Iths are going to mean that it's going to be really hard for me to connect. I really wanted to be able to like Maze of Ith, go wasteland this Maze of Ith. I don't know that I actually want to take an action yet. So I think I'm gonna go end step, dump this thing in. And then I'll wait and see what he does. He's presumably going to tap my port. He's not going to tap my port. So that means instead I'll just port the maze. And I guess I've got mana, so I should equip this sword to something. I guess my mom. This is a shit spot. If I wasteland the maze, then they thespian stage and get another maze anyway. Otherwise, I'm just gonna let them have like 3 fucking mazes. I don't think I can beat multiple mazes. But then that means that grove just sits there, which is scary. But I don't think I can let them have 3 mazes. So I think I'm going to take this opportunity to just get these punishing fires out of the graveyard just so I don't have to keep holding up the cleric forever. Although I'll do it once the maze is in the graveyard. Alright, so now I can't do anything through double maze. Is my opponent trying to win purely with Punishing Fire? Oh, god damn it. Alright. I wonder if my opponent is, like, basically just trying to win via Punishing Fire most of the time. Or I wonder if they have, like, one random fling or equivalent. No, my opponent was hellbent after attacking with crop doing the crop rotation thing. Really wish I could stop drawing these Swords to Plowshares. This is one. I missed 2 points of damage there. Because I just clicked too quickly. It's annoying. Plus, like, I would much rather concede once I know how my opponent is planning on winning through the Ensnaring Bridge. That's like a super important piece of information that I don't currently have. Yeah, this build is all sorts of weird. Okay, that is a way. So this Flicker Wisp isn't bad. So I can Flicker Wisp a Recruiter. What am I doing? I can just like poop a whole bunch of Flicker Wisps. I can get a Remorseful Cleric. I can get a Revoker, stop Vortex. Vortex isn't that scary though, because like I have Mom, and my opponent like has to go Hellbent every turn. It's a shame I can't tutor Brightling. Okay. So I can Flicker Wisp a Maze. I can Port a Maze. I think this is where I scoop. Like I can stop the loam by Flicker Wisp Recruiter, Recruiter get the Cleric, nuke the graveyard. Yeah, maybe this, I don't. Sure, like I can reset them, but then they just use the ability and copy them again. Like that doesn't do much. Yeah, this is game one. Like, I accept by continuing to play... Oh my god, Sylvan Library? Jeez. I think I concede to that. I think that selection is... I don't care about the clock. I don't care about losing this match. Like, I'm more interested in learning right now in Legacy, and this lands build is super interesting, so I can learn a lot by, like, trying to figure out how I need to wiggle through it. That's why I'm playing on. Alright, so I can tap a maze, shrink Brightling down, grow Brightling back, and get in for damage. Well, apparently the answer is yes. Because there's main deck library and ensnaring bridge. Oh no. Shoot, I didn't get counters last turn. Alright, I'm not getting through this turn and I fucked up. Alright. I'm good here. I'm gonna be, like, on the wrong side of, like, this whole, like, maze port situation from here on out. Not that I wasn't already, but, like, I think I learned everything I was gonna learn from that. And that was definitely worth my time to play out to learn those things. Like, just internalizing some of that information was super, super helpful. I don't know that this is. Yeah, it was super interesting, and like that's why I was playing on. I was learning there. Might be sideboarding too many cards. So I actually didn't see a Dark Depths that entire time, right? I just saw stages. Like, there's presumably at least one in there, but I think my opponent's, like, primary game plan is Punishing Fire or Molten Vortex people out. So I can probably go lighter on swords than I normally do. My Thalias are probably pretty bad against this. And then if the game is going to go just, like, superbly long, maybe I trim one land. So I want to have a little bit of removal for things like Tireless Trackers. Oh yeah, I probably should have brought in Council's Judgment. Oops. Brightling destroying drops of honey. Isn't that sweet? So I can blank the EE, but then Molten Vortex just hits this. So I'm probably better off just like ignoring this, let them take out the rest in peace, and then just punish the ever-loving crap out of them with a Brightling. No, never mind. Let's do this. Gamble will try to get a Croson Grip. Oh no, Punishing Fire. I Flicker Wisped it. Huzzah! Brightling, so good. So I think I need to win fast. I mean, obviously I need to win fast. So I need to get aggressive. I'm not gonna bring in Council's Judgments. I don't think I can just like beat a bridge in terms of like physical time. So I'm not gonna bring in Council's Judgment. Just gonna bring in things that help close the game. That's amazing. Oh man, after all that, my opponent does have a tentacle monster. Well, I would have just died if I tapped out for Brightling, so I guess this was really good. So I'll need to top deck another Flicker Wisp. This should be like gamble for a wasteland, in my opinion. So close. So close. Did not time out, though. Womp womp. What a long, grindy game. That was ridiculous. Like, in a paper tournament, I would have, like, 100% conceded earlier. But, like, I was learning, and learning in testing is not to be underestimated. Like, in my opinion, like, the value of ticks on Magic Online is essentially 0, right? Like, I do not care about my ticks amount all that much. Like, it's well over self-sustaining. So if I can, like, slightly decrease the number of ticks I get in order to learn more, I'm 100% willing to make that trade-off. So I cut the Caracas because I was pretty convinced that my opponent was very, very light on the Merit Lodge package after not seeing a Dark Depths in 2 games. So in order to, like, increase my chances of winning very quickly, I cut a land. Yes, part of what lets me say, like, I don't care about my ticks at all is the fact that I have a lot of community support. Like, the donations I get, the stuff that I'm getting from Twitch, you know, it is profitable for me to stream. Alright, so let's start playing the game of, like, what is my opponent playing? My guess is like a mono black Reanimator deck. But could be anything. Red-black Reanimator it is. Cabal Therapy targeting me. Let's see what they name. Swords to Plowshares. The good news is they missed. Bad news is Grizzlebrand's a good magic card if they can produce one this turn. If they can't produce one right this turn, I feel like I have a chance. Alright, there's 2 cards left, opponent. Let's see what they name. Thalia. Interesting name. So if they don't have it right now, I probably just would have named Mother of Runes so that I can't invalidate the Grizzlebrand with like Mom plus Flicker Wisp. But I get where they're coming from. Alright, you have Animated Dead. Alright, so now we get to see if I can beat a Grizzlebrand. Since my opponent didn't take the Mom, like, I very realistically can. So it's going to be a question of, like, how much follow-up do they have now? So, gonna Sire me? Sire's pretty good. I mean, I'm with you, Zach. Unmask targeting me. So this is where I put in the Mom, and now I can F6. What's the point of the Cabal Therapy? Like, we're just both discarding our hands. Come on. Okay, alright. I take it back. I take it back. Yeah, I'm not stone cold dead here. I'm incredibly unfavored, but not stone cold dead. Yes, I would love it if they bounced my Brightling to my hand using their Lotus Petal. The only thing I'm a little worried about here is that my opponent has, like, a reanimate. Alright, so, like, a reanimate post Grizzlebrand draw 7, and then they get my Flicker Wisp too, but, like, whatever. I'd rather save the 2 life than stop my opponent from gaining 3. Yes, confirmed. Opponent does not know how Brightling works. Could have done 2 more damage and gained 2 more life. Magic's hard. Sound effects are off! How are they not off? That's very confusing to me. Do I just assume that my opponent still doesn't know how Brightling works? I think I'm going to assume that my opponent still doesn't know how Brightling works and make the same block as last turn. so playing against black, red, Reanimator, and that was a loss. So game 1 loss to Grizzlebrand. I mean, we really got 2 more draw steps than we deserved, right? Alright. So I'll basically bring in my entire sideboard. How does this look? This leaves me with 21 creatures. The Relic Order is only medium, but it gets rid of Animate Dead. I guess that's good enough. I like everything else. This is questionable. Like, maybe this should just be, like, the first Brightling or the second Flicker Wisp instead. But I think I'll play it. This has turn 3 Cleric and some pieces of like middling disruption. So this is good enough for me to consider keeping on the play. Although I'd mulligan this on the draw. Oh, this isn't like an amazing hand, but like this is certainly a keep. Like it has a turn 3 piece of graveyard interaction. It has my best card in the deck, generically speaking, and a bridge turn 2 play of some kind, whether that's like Canonist or Port. So like it's fine, but if my opponent just like has a turn 1 or a turn 2 through whichever piece of disruption I play, like they've got it. Alright, while my opponent takes their sweet time, I'm gonna grab some water. Alright, unmask, targeting me. They take my piece of graveyard hate. Now what? Cabal Therapy targeting themselves, presumably binning a fatty. But I will get to see the rest of the hand. Alright, so they have an Animate Dead. So my opponent did just keep their hand. So they know nothing about whether or not they have a land on top. Nevertheless, I'm not going to risk it, and I will just port them and put in Mom. Oh, that surgical's amazing. Morning. We're in game 2 against Black-Red Reanimator, and we're relatively favored currently. A football giveaway. Ooh, neat. Didn't know that was a thing. Brightling's awesome. I adore Brightling. I sing its praises highly. It does a lot of really weird and unusual things. If I were my opponent, I'd probably concede right here rather than show off all the sideboard cards. Alright, so my opponent has Decays, and that's it. Well, you should be just as excited about Brightling as you are about Blightning. I mean, you can play Brightling with Shalai, but I think until we have reason to want Shalai in the deck again, Shalai should be on the bench. Oh, I didn't even look at my opponent's hand. What is my opponent's hand? Oh, I can't see anymore. Neat. Yeah, it was a push. Yeah, so JSN, you should, if you play D&T, you should be testing Brightling. If you don't play D&T, you should be testing against Brightling. The card's super obnoxious. This hand is superb. If I don't just get, like, nutted, then this is a very clear winning hand. Brightling is superb against Miracles. It is pretty good against lands. We destroyed a land's opponent in game 2 of last round just by like going Brightling 5U. All right, so there's a Chancellor. JSN, it is below the stream. I mean, it's pretty silly what that card is capable of doing. And I keep finding new and interesting situations and things that Brightling is able to do. Alright. Probably not good for me. This probably means some big fatty comes into play. And I'm still a turn behind because of, like, the Chancellor trigger that's going to counter one of my Thalias this turn. So I'm actually not in terrible shape. I can draw a Caracas, or a Swords, or a Plow, or a Council's Judgment to kind of deal with this Grizzlebrand. I alternatively have the Leona Relic Order to do that. I can throw away a Thalia this turn, take 6. But my opponent will likely reanimate a Chancellor. We'll see where this goes. The Cleric has been very good. There's more graveyard-based decks running around now that Deathrite Shaman is gone, and it's been a very powerful main deck card. I'm also not frequently boarding it out, and I'm often keeping it in the deck just as a 2/1 flyer. I play 2 Brightlings in the main deck, a 3rd in the sideboard. Alright. What you got going on over there, opponent? That's a lot of mana. How many things do you have to do? This is quite a few things. That's the correct name there, in my opinion, because that means I need to throw away an actually good card for the Chancellor trigger. I hope my opponent doesn't get another reanimation spell to put the Chancellor in play. THJ, I'm not 100% convinced about my current sideboard configuration, but it's felt fine. If I was going to make any changes, I would consider like Cataclysm, Gideon, or Elspeth in some of those slots. Alright. You still have 9 cards. Can you produce the Chancellor too? Because I'll probably be dead to that. Because I take, what, like 11 damage on the next crack? Nope, just all the things I love are dead. Still not disastrous, but bad. Yes, Cataclysm is very, very good against Miracles, but Brightling falls into a similar situation, so there's overlap there. And Recruiter of the Guard is still very good against Miracles. Gideon versus Elspeth, it's impossible to say right now. Like, I don't have a solidified enough version, like a picture of the metagame to know that for sure. But generically, Gideon is the better card. Whether or not that will be true in the new world, I don't know. Like, there's some argument for wanting to play Elspeth so that you can jump Brightling to give it evasion and just turn it into an absolute monster. Like, those two cards have good synergy together, so that might give Elspeth a nod, whereas previously I don't think it's really had that in the past. I think playing Palace Jailer versus Miracles is a trap. If they get the Monarch status by like flashing in a Snapcaster Mage or something like that, it's just absolutely disgusting. And you can't possibly win the game afterwards. Oh, that was a good play, opponent. So they reanimated my Remorseful Cleric to exile my graveyard so that they could get a one-sided Exhume. Good play. Good play. I like that. These lands are very good. No, I do not board Palace Jailer versus Miracles. I think that is an active mistake. Hey, Minifer. We're dying to red-black Reanimator. I mostly just want to see if I draw another land at this point. Yeah, see, I think Palace Jailer is fine against suboptimal Miracles players to maybe like actively good against them, but like I don't want to play against anyone who knows what they're doing and have Palace Jailer in play ever. But like, I am being serious here. Like, how good your opponent is does sometimes change how you sideboard. I wish I could think of an example off the top of my head, but there have been times where my opponents did not understand some rules interaction, and I did not tell them the rules interaction that they did not understand, and I just took advantage of their lack of knowledge. What was it? So just to like make up a similar example, like let's say that like you have a Pithing Needle and you're just like 100% dead to what your opponent has, and like they have a bunch of like Lion's Eye Diamonds or something, and you go like LED named Pithing Needle, which is a legal play, but it doesn't actually do anything. Or sorry, other way around, Pithing Needle naming LED. If your opponent like reads the card and just like thinks it works the way like they don't understand how it works, you can take advantage of that sort of thing. So if you're playing against bad players, sometimes you can play differently or sideboard differently accordingly. I wish I could think of a better example than that, because like that's obviously a poor one. Right, Jailer is better against bad Miracles players because they don't understand how to like go and wiggle into the situations that will like make that card very, very good for them. I was just sort of like showing off something analogous. Okay, so it's about 11:40, and I have lunch at noon, so I'm going to go ahead and call it here for today. Where's my next stream? What day is today? Literal no idea. Wednesday. My next likely stream time is Saturday morning at about 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time. So next anticipated stream time is 9 o'clock or thereabouts in the morning on Saturday, Eastern Time. Yes, JSN, that's exactly the sort of thing that I was talking about. Where like when your opponents don't know how cards work and they don't read carefully or they don't have the knowledge required, like you can take advantage of that sort of thing. Oh well, have fun playing in Worcester. And I hope you all have a good day. My name's Phil Gallagher. I run Thraben University. If you enjoy legacy content, please consider following my channel or doing something else to support me, like subscribing or submitting a donation deck list. I hope you all have a good day, and keep preaching the power of Brightling.